Joining us now, former Coyotes assistant coach Steve Peters joins us now from Edmonton. I got to tell you, I mean, what kind of per diem do you get? I mean, you're in Florida, now you're up there, and does the exchange screw up with the per diem? Or call, Rock?
No, I tell you what, I'm not so concerned about the per diem as I am this whole flight schedule thing. Like this is a long way from Florida, so if you're not sure, check out a map and look where Edmonton is. Mm-hmm. It's not near Florida. This is not fun. The travel part, hockey part's great. The travel part's been really tough.
It is the longest ever trip between two hockey cities in the National Hockey League Stanley Cup Finals.
Of course it is. Of course it is, because I'm traveling. Of course it is.
So is that why the Panthers flight was delayed and they only had less than 24 hours? Was that a problem to get ready for today?
It is, and it's funny. It is funny because I look at they have the day off, and Edmonton flew 2 days ago and got here 2 days ago, and Florida flew yesterday. And it was a big talk around here because they didn't land until 8:30, and I know it's 8:30, but 10:30 East Coast body time. A lot of people around here are wondering why they didn't fly the day before.
Yep.
Because they're not acclimated to the city, the time zone. I question the decision, but their coaches must have felt that the day at home was beneficial. I apologize for the noise. I'm literally in the basement of the rink, so I'm sorry about the noise. But yeah, it's a big deal. And they did get delayed, and that could I'm worried about their start tonight.
I'm more worried about Edmonton and their top four scorers are scoreless. What's the deal? I mean, this isn't what I expected coming into this.
No, the one thing for the Edmonton Oilers, they need Connor McDavid to score.
Yeah,
he has to be the guy that leads the team offensively, and he's having a hard time. But what Connor McDavid does when he's struggling is he tries to do more. And the problem with him doing more, they defend him so well. He needs the other players around him to get him space. And that's just not happening. I'm really concerned. However, I do think tonight with the Oilers back at home, I expect them to have a really good start tonight. I actually think the Oilers are going to come out flying tonight, and that includes Connor McDavid.
You know, Steve, you talked to us. We previewed this game last week about how the physicality of Florida, how they attack the opposing team defensively. But I got to tell you, with this explosion of 4 goals in a row, you know they could score, but not with that kind of explosiveness. Did Edmonton just basically get downtrodden and reference what was going on around them? What created that? Was it the physicality? They just warmed down and
do? The biggest problem with Edmonton right now is their defensive zone system or mistakes. If they make one mistake, it ends up in their net. And they've had some very egregious defending mistakes. And again, to your point, they wear teams down. And they wear teams down, and they wear teams down, and you just wait for that mistake. Florida's just a patient team. They feel they're going to win every game as long as they stay in it and it stays close, and that's how they're playing Edmonton. They wait for Edmonton to make a mistake, they pounce on it, and then they're able to get goals and take that lead, and that's what we've seen so far in this series. Edmonton's got to find a way to create offense, period. Like, they've got to score goals. They have 1 goal in 2 games. You're not going to win any games like that in the Stanley Cup Final.
Steve, I have sources in Edmonton. I've been told that because of the lack of physicality by Edmonton, that people have seen the Hanson brothers warming up at a local rink, getting ready to put on jerseys tonight. Look, I'm making a joke here with the Hanson brothers, but they are not as physical, the Oilers, as the Florida Panthers are.
No, they're not, and the concern is they really could use the Hanson brothers right now because they're more physical players. You look at Evander Kane, who's a guy that does bring some of that physical element for the Edmonton Oilers. He's likely not to play tonight. He had an injury he probably shouldn't have played in game 2, but he tried to get through the pain. He didn't. He played poorly. So we expect Evander Kane out of the lineup, and Darnell Nurse, another guy that brings the physicality for Edmonton. He's another guy that's questionable for tonight. So I'm not sure where they're going to get that pushback. I'm really concerned about the physical part of the game for the Edmonton Oilers. I don't think they have the players in the lineup that can push back against this Florida Panther team.
Steve Peters here, Fox Sports 910. Steve, let's talk about the goaltending on both sides. That's where these championships are won. Let's start with Florida. I think it's pretty safe to say he may have stole game 1, and he was pretty good at game 2.
Yeah, Sergei Bobrovsky right now, he's the leading candidate for the Conn Smythe winner. as the playoff MVP. He's been absolutely elite. Like that first game, you're right, he did steal that game. And I think without his performance in game one, we're looking at a much different series. He's been outstanding. Again, though, I worry about tonight. And he let in the first shot on goal in game two and was able to lock it down after that. But a lot of that was because of his team and the way they defended in front of him. Today, there's just this feeling today. I don't know if Florida's ready to play today. I still go back to their getting in so late last night that I think that's going to be a problem. Bobrovsky is going to see more pucks than he did in game two. He's going to see a lot more pucks than he did in the last game. Let's see how he handles it in this hostile environment.
Steve Peters is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Let me follow up, and we made some jokes about the Hanson brothers and, of course, the movie Slapshot. But what I wanted to follow up on here is that if you're concerned then that you may not get that all-out play from the Panthers due to what you just talked about with their flight issues, do you see Edmonton trying to play racehorse hockey? In other words, trying to beat the Panthers down the ice on every opportunity?
Absolutely. And that's what they did in game one. You saw them coming out a lot. They were getting behind the Florida Panther defense. They were playing with speed through the neutral zone, and they were unable to do that in game two. I would think this is all going to be about races between the blue lines. I would expect pucks just thrown out to the neutral zone and watching those Edmonton Oilers speedy forwards skate onto those pucks. I am absolutely convinced without the ability to play that physical style that Florida plays, you're going to see quick movement and you're going to see the speed of the Oilers tonight. I think you nailed it on the head, Jimmy. I think that is the way that Edmonton Oilers team has to approach tonight, because they can't get stuck in a wall battle. They just don't have the players that can play that style. So look for them to play fast.
I'm with you on that 100%. In game one, we did see a couple of breakaways, but Bobrovsky stone cold them on the doorstep. It has to be different tonight.
Yeah, it is. They need those same kind of looks, those same kind of breakaway looks. But when you go back and watch the film, all of those shots that they had on, all of those breakaways were along the ice. And Bobrovsky is dangerous down low. They got to get the puck up when they're inside against Bobrovsky. You got to beat them high.
Steve, where do you rate of all the Canadian rinks? Where does Rogers place? Where does that fall when it comes to the crowd?
In Canada, number one.
Number one.
The capacity here is massive. It's a huge building, and when it gets loud, it gets loud. Like this is going to be a different atmosphere than what we saw in Florida. I think it's going to be almost overwhelming, and as many people are inside the building, there's just as many outside the building. Right outside the building, you got the mosh pit, and this city is abuzz, and Florida was not. You did not know that the Stanley Cup playoffs were being held in the greater Miami area. You come here, everybody's got their jerseys on. Every storefront has the sign. It's Oiler hockey time. And it's just a different buzz here, and I really think the players are going to feed on that tonight.
Steve, enjoy it. Make sure to use all the per diem so you can get yourself home with it.
You keep it on the guard.
It's fine. I don't know.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
We saw the mouse the other day before I left. So we put a mouse trap in. Mouse trap went out. Caught him out.
Nice.
My wife would not touch it. Respect the mouse.
If you would just get a real dog, it's a little lab dog. Your dog is afraid of it. My lab will go take care of it. Yeah, just get your dog. That's all you need.
They took care of it.
Appreciate it, Steve. Thanks for joining us on the road. It's awesome.
Talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Steve Peters. Joining us from Edmonton as he's brought to you today by All City Towing. If you're looking for a career that pays really well, and that has incredible benefits, All City Towing continues to grow. Head to allcitytowing.com and search careers. That's allcitytowing.com and search careers. Well, we need a contestant to challenge one of the beautiful Twin Peaks girls here at Scottsdale. We'll take the fifth